Well, that's our next focus today on the program. We're joined now by Dakpo Oyewumi, who is the CEO of Center for Law and Business. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Already we're seeing the dailies how it's said that Arik, 10 billion naira is required to fix Arik AMCON size that much. You equally have lots of other people, I think the aviation professionals, that association, saying, look, this may just be part of the move to make it a national carrier. You've been going through all of this. What do you think?
Yeah. Thank you once again for having me. I think the problem or the issues we have here is to make sure that Arik, first of all, does not fail, given the size of Arik in the aviation industry today. I think Arik provides for at least 50 or 55% of the aviation traffic in Nigeria today and parts of West Africa. So if it does fail, there's going to be a major problem. We've seen what has happened to all the other airlines, and they are a lot small. Those other airlines are a lot smaller than Arik. So I think we should not focus on sentiments. We should focus on what's the larger picture, what's good for the nation. I think Arik should not be allowed to fail, and everything that can be done to make Arik more efficient and a better airline is what we should be concentrating on.
But the point at which Arik is at the moment is that there has been complaints. The complaints are that the airline is unable to pay workers' salaries, some being owed as much as 6 months. It's not able to even buy the aviation field in some instances for a major weightlifter like it is. More than 50% of Nigeria's travel mass by air.
Yes.
It's carrying that.
Yes.
Does this not raise concerns to you that perhaps this is in the best interest of Arik that it be taken over?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think it's better for Arik to be taken over. It's better for the nation. I think Arik should be I would, if you ask me what the problem is, I think the major problem is capitalization. I think Arik is undercapitalized. The aviation industry, airline industry, is very, very capital intensive. You need a lot of money to be able to do things properly. So if you ask me, I will ask that Arik be capitalized properly. Let's see what happened in the motor industry, in the auto industry, about 2009, just when Obama was about to become president. Two of the major auto companies, I think it was Chrysler and GM, were about to fail. He's rescued them, put in money, and today those companies are big, and that's why Trump even has any auto company to be threatening about moving jobs across to Mexico. If they had failed, they wouldn't be there now. So I think they should be rescued. The company should be recapitalized. I personally would suggest that the company should be turned into a public limited company.
Perhaps it's too early that government AMCON moved into to take over.
I would say so.
And because the reasons why is because
yes.
Arik already has plans to expand its operations, yes. And expand its fleet as
yes.
well.
Yes.
Does that not point or give signals that it is ready to do business and to meet up its obligations and service its debts?
But if you look at all the things you've said, the failures, I mean, with due respect to Arik is noted for flights being missed, delays upon delays, heavy delays, not even 1 hour, 2 hours, many hours of delays. You are flying to Ghana, it's a delay. You are flying within Nigeria, it's a delay. You are flying abroad, delays. There were stories of the workers going on strike. They have not been paid salaries for months and all that. I don't think really any regulator will sit back and allow that to happen. And apart from the direct employers of Arik, you should look at also the suppliers and all those who have indirect resources or income from Arik. And then look at the air passenger traffic. Already there's a filling a gap. There are executive jets that are beginning to fly now to places like Abuja about twice the cost of a business class ticket, but people are taking them. They fly on time, you are well treated, you arrive on time, there are no delays. That's what everybody needs. So I think it's been too long. Even if Arik had these plans, let these plans be merged with whatever government has to do. But I also would say that government should do it properly, because sometimes I'm a bit skeptical about government's capacity to do things, but I think we should do things properly.
Talking about skepticism, there are those who are skeptical about the ability of AMCON to raise Arik out of the murky waters.
Yes.
Now, would this move also lead to probably taking Arik public? Would that help in any way?
In fact, that's where I'm headed. I would say Arik should be made a public limited company. The existing owners of Arik will still have their stake in Arik. Look at all the banks. Most of the banks, let me give an example, First City Merchant Bank. It's now First Monument Bank PLC. The owners of that bank still have a large stake in the company. And all of the banks were originally private limited companies. They are all public limited companies. And that's what you need public limited companies for. You raise capital. The capital market is there to be able to raise capital when you need it, without necessarily going to the to the banks. You can raise money from the capital market, and that's what they're for. And then another issue with Arik, which from what I heard, I'm not sure, I don't work in Arik, is the issue of corporate governance. And of course, with corporate governance, you can do better corporate governance with a public limited company. First of all, the Securities and Exchange Commission has its code of conduct of public governance for public companies. So even if there's no code of conduct for public governance in the aviation industry, by virtue of being a public limited company, a PLC, then that code of the investment of the Securities and Exchange Commission will apply to Arik. And I think we'll be able to attract better hands and all that. Management will be better. You have core investors with great skills. Arik's problems might not necessarily be technical. It might be managerial. You need good managers. You need people who can manage the place. You need good structure, effective corporate governance structure that will keep the place going.
Okay, let's look at it. That bit about the skepticism earlier, which you mentioned.
Yes.
AMCON's taken over Arik.
Yes.
AMCON moved the deputy manager of Arik to head Aero Contractors. Now, some will begin to wonder, he was part of Arik when AMCON took over, and AMCON says they're taking over because things are looking south.
Yes.
And you're moving him to Aero Contractors that was south, and you're trying to bring it up north. So how would all of that play out in the mind of those who are observing from the outside?
Well, it's a good thing that the issues are now being raised. It's here on the public domain. AMCON itself knows that it's being watched. Even if they had ulterior motives before, but they know that there's a focus on them. And I would say let's give them a chance. Let's all those who have the stakeholders in that industry come together. It will involve AMCON, involve the banks, involve the stock exchange,